Hey everybody, how's it going? It is Friday morning. Let's see, May 30th. Time for the Just After Bill Burr's Thursday, Monday morning podcast. My name is Joe, as you know. First things first, we got a comment on Bill. I got a couple comments. It's actually a running theme now. So, every podcast, it seems, at least lately, and like I said, it's a running theme. I either get, people messaging me, commenting, etc. It's either basically, like you're not usually you're wasting your time, yada yada, podcast this. You're not gonna make money, etc. Which, like I've mentioned before, if I was doing it to make money, I'd be approaching it a little different, at least to start. And it started out when I watched. Because for me, Bill's a recent, fairly recent, not recent comic. Obviously, I know his shit's older. But me listening to him and watching the stand-ups, it's like the last couple of years, It was like COVID. I started really getting into, I was always into stand-up comedy, like George Carlin and stuff. But, Carlin, he went into, his last show was filmed like, a month before he passed away. And, even in that show, it's like, well, nobody talks about pussy farts and cornhole and fucking, he doesn't give a shit. Like, he goes all the way, whether he was married or not, you don't know, but, or if he had kids, who fucking knows what his actual life was like. But I know, I guess some people know, I know he partied and, I know he got in some trouble for his, 7 words you can't say, you're shit, piss, cock, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, goddamn, something like that. But no, my point on that actually, that's part of my major point. So the 7 bad words that, obviously he expanded over time, and it was a running joke for a good little while, but, the point is, he stayed himself, it seems like, he stayed the same personality, just changing with the times, so he's commenting on, like, the last show, 2008, I believe, when he passed away. His last show, he's commenting on the modern time of, 2008. You watch his 70s, 80s stand-up, he's not talking about the 50s or 40s, or maybe he might, but, it's all shit from that time, but it's still the same George Carlin, he a little more hippie, man. A little more 70s, 80s fucking smoking a joint, man. Kind of Carlin, maybe. A little bit more, but still got that, rag on society kind of take to him. I don't know how to... if you know Carlin, you know. But, and he was awesome. All the way up to the last show, it was fucking awesome. Now, he never did podcasts that I know of, so I can't really comment. Because, it is Bill sitting at home fucking just kind of like me driving to work. It's kind of just fucking as commentary. It's just a ramble of fucking thoughts, at the moment. I get it, because I have thoughts all the time. Like, even last night, fucking laying in bed after the Oilers clinched their spot in the Cup final against the Panthers for the first rematch in almost 20 years or some shit like that. Or the only one in the last 20, 30 years. But, yeah, so back to Bill. No, like I said, if I don't get comments on how, I'm wasting my time and being stupid or whatever, the comments are usually along the lines of, Bill's sellout, corporate sellout, he works for the people he's talking about now, yada, yada, etc. And at first, the very first time somebody said that, I tried to not brush it off, I don't give a shit. It's, it makes sense. That's what most people do, unless you're Adam Sandler. He seems like one of the few who's not a sellout. You catch him in fucking, like New Balance, some fucking Walmart t-shirt and basketball shorts, and, he's got way more than, Bill, or way more than, a lot of people. Shit. Sandler's probably up there, on the money scale, but you couldn't tell, by seeing him, and from what I hear, he's a stand-up guy all the way around, like as far as, he doesn't throw his money around or anything like that. Doesn't act like he's better than anybody. Not saying Bill is acting like he's better. Well, actually, just a little bit. Just a little bit, Bill. This whole fucking white people thing, every time it's the white men and the white women. And, the billionaires, I get it. Yeah, I get it. The billionaires, you take them all, put them all together, split their money, everybody could be happy, or everybody could have a roof, everybody could have food, get paid fair, and the billionaires would still be happy, or, they still have plenty of money. I get that. But at the same time, dude, I mean, what did he say? Like, Bill was saying something about getting hired at a job. And he's like, all it takes is, he's like, you passed the test in school, and then you got your degrees or whatever, and then now you're hired to do a certain thing because you have the degree, you have your resume, and probably because you're white. And it just, you are of your time. Bill mentioned that in one of his stand-ups. You are of your time, and he's born in the 60s. So, he might have been, well, not might have been. I'm sure his parents born in the 40s, early 50s, 40s, late 30s, whatever. I'm sure they were more racist because, I'm not going to lie. You go back to, like, my grandpa or even my dad, or, the farther back you go, seems like the more racially divided tendencies there are. Because like I always say, when I was, growing up, I mean, nobody ever told me that a black person and a white person were different, and as far as I know, we're not, besides, facial features, maybe, I mean, even muscles and your organs are all designed the same, I might not be as, in shape as, the average black dude, but that's partially my fault for being a fucking fat, lazy motherfucker. I don't think it's, I don't know, but, either way, yeah, to that effect, when I was a little kid, we were at my mom and I were at a Blockbuster, and that's, yeah, fucking Blockbuster, remember those nights, order pizza, fucking get your movies, fucking you hope to God the people in front of you be kind and rewind, because you fucking, even though it only took like 3-4 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, it's still, you had to put the fucking tape in, and then it would tell you you're at the end of the tape, and you're like, oh shit, and so now you're fucking rewinding it, and it's not like a fucking, even like a DVD or a fucking digital now, where it's just, you just hold the fucking back button, or you hit the fucking double arrows like 6 times and go back like 36 times speed. Like, this was just one speed rewind. But and those were the days. But no, point is, I was at a Blockbuster with my mom, and I was too young, and my mom passed away, so I can't ask her for the exact details if she'd remember. But there was a story, we were in Blockbuster, and there was a guy, and my dad owned a company, and he always got covered in this, he worked with metals, so it was like a rusty color, but it made his skin like a dark, but it wasn't like dirty, like black, or not black like that, but gray, like you'd get like a mechanic smudge dirty. It wasn't like that. It was more like like I said, like a metal, rusted metal. So I don't know. It made him look more tan. I don't fucking know. But point is, Andy worked in the sun. So and we do have Italian blood. So Italian blood, like it's some fucking, imported directly from Italy. That was dumb. You know what I mean? I Italian descent. So we can tan pretty easy. Go out in the sun, get a sunburn. You peel it out, and next thing you know, you got a nice little tan. Do that a couple times, and you got your summer, your summer tan, or whatever you want to call it. But him working in the sun, he's already more tan, and then he gets the metal rust, dust all over him. And so I'm at Blockbuster one day, and there's like, I'm guessing the darker like mixed guy, and I point up and I'm like, "Daddy's here, mommy," and she, I don't know how she reacted. It was 90s, so it should have been fine, but even in the 90s, the whole interracial couple thing was like, whoa, man, what's going on here? So, either way, my point is, for me, I didn't fucking know that daddy was a white man or a black man. Like, if my mom told me my dad was a fucking Samoan when I was a kid, I'd have believed it. Like, that's how, at least I grew up. I mean, I do have some friends that have some racial tendencies and, whatnot, and around my age, but most people my age I know, and on that effect, the point was, the getting hired and being white, like, I haven't been hired at a company yet that was all white. So, I don't understand that part, and it's not the DEI fucking, because, I mean, don't get me wrong, I think, yes, everybody deserves a good life if you work full time, but I also agree, you shouldn't get a job just because you're fucking, you're from this country, or you have this skin color, or you're this sex. Like, that shouldn't make your job. I think jobs should be on, can you do the job, or can you not? I'm not going to hire a 90-year-old, wheelchair-bound, a woman that's looking for, like, a Walmart greeter, just to get out of her nursing home or something. I'm not going to hire her for a fucking forklift job, but would that be, like, DEI or fucking, would that be inappropriate if I said no because she's a woman and she's 90? I mean, it's a forklift and, it's operable, but, at the same time, she can't walk if she's in a wheelchair and she's 90 years old. She lives in nursing, and that's extreme. I get it. I'm not talking about, if you're just hiring, and I think it's fucked up personally, if you just hire somebody because they're black, because they're Native American, Asian, because, and you don't even look at their resumes or whatever, then that's more racist to me than the whole DEI program, like, idea. Because, now you're just hiring just because it's like, well, we want to get the tax break, so we're just going to hire people based off of that, and that to me is, that's more insulting. Like, if somebody came to me at my job and told me, hey, you're only hired because you're a white guy and, they get tax breaks for that, I'd feel a lot more insulted than, there is a tax break because you're, white, but at the same time, you're doing a great job, and so, it double benefits the company. At least the racism fucking benefits the person that's, getting fucked in that situation. But, no, man, yeah, I get these comments that Bill's, bought out, and he's not the same anymore, and, I'm starting to see it, and like I said, first it was the drop dead years, I get it, the no easygoing Bill, and progression of people with life, you try to get away from the anger and, the shit that bothers you, and, if he's solving it and getting through it, then good for you, and I'm not saying I'm not saying to hold on to the anger until you have that drop dead heart attack, just for everybody to have, have entertainment. But, figure out what George Carlin did. Find a way to channel that old Bill anger, in your comedy, but not in your real life. And find a way to fucking keep it going, because, yeah, I have to agree with a lot of what I'm hearing, and even the comments on Bill's shit. It's like, he's scared to say what he really wants now, and, he's talking about one of the casts, he was talking about, my wife said I can't say the F word, not like fuck, but he can't say, can't say fag or anything anymore because he, yelled it to a guy on a scooter or something out of his Prius, and it's like, I'm not going to sit here, I'm not going to badmouth any family, I'm not going to badmouth his wife. This is supposed to be a comedy cast. This is kind of a reality check from the fans, because I'm a fan too, and, like I said, I have to agree. I don't know, it's seeming like, it's cool that Nia's calmed you down, but don't let her take away the fire, man. Don't let her take away the fire. Stay true to you, Billy. Oh, fucking Bilber Fudd. The only difference is you don't got a gun. got a gun, and I don't think you ever go hunting wabbits. But yeah, so that's a big first note. Not really too funny. But, yeah, I'm starting to see, I think, I think Bill's getting a little softer in his comedy, and I don't know how that's going to evolve and develop. The contradiction, saying what you're not supposed to, or not supposed to, but, saying what you feel because that's what you feel and not because it's politically right or wrong, as long as you're, doing it with comedic intent and all that good stuff, then, I agree with the other people that, like I said, messaged, that I've talked to, that Bill needs to, get back to the old ways, get back to the fucking 50s, 60s Bill. So on that note, let's move on from the fucking yada yada blah blah talking shit. Cause like he said, fucking just like the Knicks fans, they're all fucking loud, and then all of a sudden they get quiet, and he's like, and I roast the hell out of them. And it's funny, he got a little, you could hear in the tone, it was like he got a little, took it a little personal. Like fucking, what's wrong, man? All of a sudden you're quiet and I roast you and you can't take it, but you roast me. And it's like, dude, you're a comedian that's known for being known for quote unquote being a dick. Because he's not really a dick. Well, we hope. I'd hope if I fucking, he talks about like people on the street, like, oh, you're that comedian, Bill Burr, and he's like, yeah, I'm Bill Burr. It's like, yeah, I just fucking said you're Bill Burr. Like, you don't got to repeat to me like the lady in the elevator. It's you, isn't it? You know who she's talking about. That's why it's creepy, because she fucking knows you're you. Like I said, I can go on Google right now and fucking find everything. Not everything. That's kind of creepy, but you could if you're fucking one of those, hacker people. You can fucking find everything about everybody. Shit. I keep getting an email, or not even an email. I keep seeing on fucking like the Google recently searched. It was like 180 million people's fucking accounts were, compromised because of, I don't fucking know, some storage or whatever. I don't fucking get it. I don't know. But, yeah, so it's kind of funny because, you think Bill would be able to take, some hecklers, especially, New York fans, like fucking, people still give Lions fans shit because Lions, never won a Super Bowl, right? And they got a little closer, but, they had those 0-16, 2-14, 4-12. They had years and years on that. And, you see Lions fans, you talk shit to a Lions fan today, and they're acting like Patriots fans of, from 10, 15, 20 years ago, and the Lions haven't even won anything yet, So, dude, sports fans are sports fans, but you can't expect people to, he's like, oh, and I roasted him hard, and they can't take it. It's like, well, what'd you say? Like, you already told everybody on this podcast, you already said everybody we're all dumbasses if we think that we got life right, which, who says you fucking got life right? Yeah, you got money, and you're comfortable, and, yeah, you're doing better than, the people, people like us, me, the dumbasses are, but, I fucking went to college, and I had fucking bad shit happen to me, and fucking, I'm at where I'm at now. Are you gonna say I'm just a dumbass because of it? Because I'm working the job I'm at? You think that's my fucking goal in life? What the fuck, dude? You always say that you were the dumbass, and that's why you went into comedy. Who's really dumbass? And then on top of that, you're talking about working, fucking thinking you made it, but then you're bitching about the billionaires and bitching about doing all these shows. Not bitching like that, but, oh, I don't get to see my family and this and that. Well, why not? Why not, Bill, if you made it? If you're not one of the dumbasses like us and you made it and you fucking figured it out, man, then why aren't you at home with your family right now? Why isn't fucking, some other guy doing fucking Glengarry Glen Ross? And then, on that note, you fucking say, oh, you're a Knicks fan. Well, your people are down the street. You're at a fucking Cats play. You're the one dancing around in the fucking Cats play. You're the fucking putty tat. And you're a sports fan. And all your comedies are talking about your wife or your girlfriend or woman just, fucking, all I want to do is watch one goddamn motherfucking game. And they want to watch fucking, reality TV and girls bitching at each other and tearing each other down. And then fucking, here's Bill dancing around in his tights and his wig, bitching at the fucking fans because they know their team's losing. So it's like, fuck it, my team's losing. I see them all the time. I only get to see this play once, or once every however many years. I can go to Knicks games all year next year. But no, let's go see my favorite comedian in a play. And then you see him, and he talks shit to you about seeing a fucking play that he's dancing around in. Tell me that ain't a fucking dual message or a fucking joke. Oh, man. Bill. Are you being funny? Or are you being for real? Is this the effects of wife and kids? Is this what happens to the funny people? Did George Carlin never get married and have a family? Is that why he stayed funny till the end? And man, what happens if Bill, don't get me wrong, like I said, I have other good, Cat Williams, Theo Vaughn, I can't remember he even makes a joke that he's an Indian guy, a kid, not even kid, but younger guy. And he even makes a fucking joke about it. He's like, nobody ever gets my name right in one of his most recent stand-ups. But, yeah, there's... Mike Epps is funny sometimes. I don't hate to say sometimes, but I haven't seen them all. But no, Nate Jackson, Matt Rife, fucking, there's a bunch of, funny comedians. I'm not putting fucking Tony in there. Fucking kill Tony because, to me that show's stupid. All you do is fucking, you give up and coming stand-up artists a chance, but then you fucking tear them a new ass every fucking show. And meanwhile, who the fuck is Tony? Like, look at this dude. He looks like a fucking flaming, what's that Phineas and Ferb? The guy with the triangle nose, you're like a flaming Phineas and Ferb character with a sassy asshole attitude and fucking no fight to back it up. And, so, yeah, I'd never fucking do that show. You couldn't pay me enough to do that show because, well, actually, no, you could because everybody's got a price. And you could pay me to do just about fucking anything for the right price. At least, TV-wise. But, no, I mean, yeah, there's plenty of comedians out there, and so hopefully, Bill stays funny, stays true to his roots, stays true to the old shitty 1970s and 80s or whatever. But, let's see, yeah, so, well, yeah, we're all dumbasses, everybody. If you think you're doing okay in life, if you're comfortable with, you got your paycheck today and you're happy because of it, you're a dumbass. Just like me, I got my check today. I was feeling good about the weekend, but now it's all shit. Thanks to fucking Bill Burr. Now I just feel like a dumbass who's going to fucking work on a Friday. Spending another 8 hours being a jackass, making somebody else rich. Even though that's what he's doing, is making, the producers and fucking the owners of the rights of the show rich. But, we're not going to talk about that. We're just going to leave it out in left field by the Green Monster. Oh, wait, no. We can't talk about the Green Monster because he's dancing around in tights in New York on Broadway. Yeah, I'm fucking giving it back to you for fucking all of us dumbasses. I'll be the voice of the people. Nobody fucking nominated me, so I'll take the job. And I feel like Donald fucking Trump. No, but people actually voted for him. Let's see. We mentioned alligators being from Florida. I got an alligator comment. People said they taste like chicken. Oh, man, I don't want to... I haven't eaten any part of an alligator that was not the tail. So I cannot comment on if you ate out of the asshole of the gator, that probably tastes gamey and not like chicken. Or if you ate, from the fucking snout or some shit, You know, I don't know where you got your part from. But the only gator I've had is alligator tail. And that shit was, I'm not a very big meat eater. And it was, like I said, I think it pretty close to tasting like chicken. And I'm going to pause you now because I'm going to drive through 1 second. All right, sorry about that. We just had to get our order in real quick. My drink for the morning, my fucking caffeine, my acid water soda. Anyway, so let's see. I was going off on Bill. Then I said I was done. And then I was going off on Bill some more. And then I said I was done. And back to the alligators. I said if he was eating out of the ass. Yep. And then, alligator tail. I'm not a big meat person. You know, I'm not going to get into the whole story. It's a fucking story. And I'm halfway to work. So, but if I do that story, then I don't have time for anything else. If I got time at the end, I'll fucking squeeze it in. Because it's not just, I don't like meat. Because there's some extras to it. But, no, on the alligator note, of the few meats that I have had, if anything, the alligator tail tastes a little bit better than chicken. Now, this wasn't Jacksonville. This wasn't fucking, I don't know. I don't even want to say mom and pop. I'm assuming Bill went to a fancy place. But the fancy places I've been to, the food's actually kind of crappier. I like the greasy spoon, mom and pop, cheap food places.
211?
Hold on.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Running through the drive-thru, keeping you on live too, cause I don't have editing.
Morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and with that, we're off now. We're on our trip to work now. I got my soda. Fucking Friday. My dumb ass feels great. Oh man, so yeah. Speaking on the alligator tail, the restaurants that I've been to, like I said, they're more greasy spoon, fucking fast food, McDonald's, fucking shitty, cheap, whatever, I don't know, however you want to put it, fucking dumbass people food, and Bill's probably going to the Pinky Out place, and I can say that those places don't taste as good because one meat that I've eaten that wasn't bad was scallops. I had fried scallops. I forget where I had them, but they were pretty good. Not, great, but they're pretty good. And I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, oh, this ain't too bad. So I end up, family comes into town from California, and all my California family, they're rich. They got like Bill Burr money, which that's another story. Getting into family, like you got a total of 7 family members alive in your family, like I do, or maybe 10, and you got $20 million in equity in the family. Why you don't divide it up? Like, not equally, but why the lowest? And I'm not the lowest, so I'm not even vouching or advocating for myself. But why the highest ranking family members don't help the lowest if they deserve it? I'm not saying like go fucking find like the lowest drug addicted family member who is a prostitute on the street and you've tried to help them for 20 years and they don't want help. I'm not saying to hand them $1 million because that's just going to go to the drugs and they're going to end up fucking ODing. But, I'm saying like the little kids who might live, without, who either don't have a parent, grew up without a parent, or, lost a parent, or the little ones who, struggled, or even teenagers, or, even the younger family members. Work your way up, and then work your way up to the people my age. Give us a little cut here, little bonus just to help get you by, and then the rich keep your million or two, your last million or two for yourself. And we all now we're all comfortable, we're all happier. Nobody has to worry about anybody financially, as long as you keep your health up and you're fucking smart with your life. The whole family will be successful. I don't understand those families. You know, like, there's no way Bill's not giving his fucking kids, you know, all the money he's got. There's no way that, say Nia, you know, has a sister or a brother, or he's got brothers and sisters, you know. Say they have kids, you know, there's no way he's not treating his nieces and nephews. You know, I can't see, you know, Bill passes and, you know, to my son and daughter, all my money and property. To my niece and nephew, here's a pair of socks that I wore in in one of my specials. And to my nephew, and then to my niece, since you're a girl, I don't want you wearing my socks. So here's one of my t-shirts from a Led Zeppelin concert from 1982. You know, when you're big enough, it could be a fucking nice shirt. Like, I don't, if you do that, that's a dick move, man. No, but that's getting back onto the fucking, anyway, the hoity-toity alligator. Hoity-toity alligator. No, I had scallops, fried scallops. I went to this restaurant with the family, and because they're, you know, the rich family, they're like, all right, let's go to this restaurant. And it's like fucking $80 for 3 scallops, you know, like $29.99 for a fucking soda. You know, they paid like $200 for a bottle of wine that was like, you know, a year and a half old or something. Not even, I don't know. I don't know the story, but it was like $1,300 for 4 adults and a kid. I was the kid. But point was, $1,400 for, you know, the intents and purpose of the fucking cast and for the conversation. Those scallops weren't as good as the $7.99 fucking, you know, fried scallop and french fry meal that I fucking got wherever else the other place was. So yeah, I don't think, you know, the money doesn't always make things better, you know. And when I was married, I always told my wife, I said, you know, I was like, look, whenever we get in money issues, because, you know, it was all back and forth, you know, you had moments of comfort and moments of struggle. And in the struggle moments, I told her, like, look, you know, whether we're fucking sleeping in the car after this, or even if we're sleeping on a fucking, you know, a park bench at a bus stop under a awning or something, or even if we got a house, you know, and we have a new car, regardless, either way, I'm gonna love you because you're my wife. You know, I married you. Like, when I do the vows, or when I get in a relationship, you know, I'm not sitting there like, how much money do you make? Fucking, you know, can you afford to hold up your end of the bargain? Like, I never asked my wife that. I never told her she had to. Well, I told her, you know, her working would help, but I never said she had to. You know, because it's like, if I can afford to, you know, keep us going, I will. But don't get mad at me that I can't afford to fucking, you know, take us to Disney World and, you know, fucking take vacations to other cities and shit, because that's where your part-time job comes in, you know. Mine pays the bills and, you know, does the important shit. Now, you want to have fun, you know, I mean, you want to have some romantic times together, yada yada. You know, that's, at least in this economy right now, you know, like Bill said, us dumbasses, you know, I need my female counterpart dumbass. I need her to do part-time if, you know, she wants to do fun. But even, I told her, I was like, part-time. I was like, 20 hours a week, minimum wage. You know, I think minimum was like $10 at the time in Florida. So I'm like, 20 hours a week, that's $200 a week, $800 a month. I'm like, if my money pays the bills, say we save $500 a year, $800, after a year we got $6,000. So that's every year we got a whole vacation to any city. Almost any city in the world. I mean, almost. I'm not going to say every, but, you know, damn near, you know, a good vacation. Or even like 2 or 3 smaller ones, you know, and then plus Disney World, you know, and that's just on a 20-hour a week. You don't give a shit job, you know. I mean, what, how can you get any better? But, no, so, yeah, no, I mean, you know, I don't know where that fucking was going. Oh, yeah, the hoity-toity alligator. I don't know how that led into relationships. That's just me rambling. Anyway, going on to sports. Bill mentioned sports. Besides him fucking bitching about Knicks fans. And then fucking dancing around in the play on his own. So, no, the Knicks last night. I guess he probably posted his shit too early. I listened to him this morning. And I'm doing a live reaction. That's why I'm bitching about him so much and fucking rambling. Because there's not really any notes. because he doesn't do anything funny anymore. But no, so the Knicks fans, what are we going at? Yeah, the Knicks pulled out a win, forced Game 6. So we got Game 6 coming tomorrow night at the Pacers Arena, wherever the fuck that is, Indiana. I'm going to assume Indianapolis. But, you don't know until you know, right? And Edmonton Oilers hockey, we're going to NHL now. We got a rematch of last year, Florida Panthers, Edmonton Oilers. I'm going to have to root for Edmonton. I mean, I was rooting against Florida Panthers last year, but, definitely got to root against them this year. You don't want them to match the Lightning 2 out of 3. You want them to go 1 out of 3. And then on top of that, Edmonton, they're back-to-back. Let them go 1 out of 2. And then, with the salary cap going up the next year or two, we're going to have a lot of team changes. Or player changes, I should say. So, things are going to change. I don't think we're going to have many repeat champions. You never know, though, because with the money going up, people might be able to hold on to players longer. But, yeah, we're going against the Panthers. Well, I am. And, part of it's the Florida rivalry. Part of it's because Edmonton didn't have to fucking elbow everybody in the face to win. They actually stepped the fuck up defensively against a good Dallas team. I mean, saying holding him to 3 goals is an understatement, I think. Or an over. I don't know if it's over or under, but either way, that's a good, Dallas, 3 goals, that's, John Cooper, Tampa's coach, used to say, if you can score 3 goals in a hockey game, you should win that hockey game. Because, the average NHL goalie allows, 2.7 or less, or something like that, average. So, on average, you score 3, you should come out on the winning side more than the losing. So, you got to give it to Edmonton's, I guess not just defense, but offense too, I mean, they answered every fucking goal. Every single goal they answered. So, you got to give it to them on that. So, I'm rooting for him. I know McDavid's a crybaby when he loses. So is Tom Brady. But you can't deny the talent. Fuck, man. I can't even think of the word because I don't got it. I don't got any talent, so I can't think of the word. I'm like, what's that stuff that the good people got that I wish I had? Oh, yeah. So McDavid, he deserves 1 cup at least in his fucking career. He's 10 years in, right? 2015, isn't that when he got drafted? 15 or 16? Yeah, fuck you and your fucking gaslight. And, but anyways, yeah, so we're going to Edmonton. We're going to Rudy toot toot for the Oilers because we don't want the Panthers back-to-back in and 2 out of 3 in. Plus, that leaves the next year open for the Panthers to go fucking 3 out of 4 or, go to 4 in a row, and I don't want that either. But, Oklahoma is waiting on the basketball side for, I'm still going to say the Pacers. I wish it was the Knicks. They can still pull it out, but I'm just going to be safe and say it's the Pacers. They got 2 games to win 1, whereas the Knicks got, 1 chance to win both. So, I don't know who I'm rooting for because I don't want to say I don't give a shit about Indiana. It sounds fucked up. But as far as sports teams, I don't give a shit about Indiana. Sports teams. The people, yeah, I care about people. But, I guess the same thing, Oklahoma. The fuck's in Oklahoma? The only thing I know about Oklahoma is it's in that fucking hip-hop and country mashup. What is it? The Soulja Boy. Oh, man, it was huge when I was a kid. The Soulja Boy song, the fucking Crank That, I think it was. Crank That, Soulja Boy, yeah. It's that mixed. I don't even know if it's actually a country song on its own or if the guy just did it for the mashup. But it's actually a pretty cool mashup. But he's He mentions fucking something in Oklahoma, and that's pretty much where that's pretty much what I know about it. That and the shootings in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s. I heard about it when I was really young. I remember that was like one of the first, like big attacks that I heard about. People doing crazy shit before 9/11 and all that. Yeah, that's basketball, baseball, the fucking Tigers, my new home team. As far as a proximity, I mean, Chicago's, well, I'm not halfway, so I guess, yeah, Tigers. I wouldn't want to root for Chicago anyway. I can't being a Yankee fan. Can't do big city on big city. I can do like Detroit, almost big city or, yeah, whatever. But even then, I still got to root for the Yankees when they play each other. But right now, from what I saw, Tigers are number 1 in the league. And we're about a third of the way through the season, so that doesn't mean shit for anybody. Same thing with the Yankees. They're like 2 games back or a game back of the Tigers, and they're like top 3, 4, 5, whatever in the league. But like I said, none of it matters until October. And on that note, there's we got racing, but I haven't checked on any of that. So and my favorite racer retired. I'm getting older, so I don't have a new NASCAR, or Indy or any of them. I don't have a favorite. MotoGP, like fucking Bill talks about. I don't have a favorite there. I do in the American one. I mean, I know it sounds fucked up, but the what is it? What's his name, man? Jake Gagne. Yeah, he's my favorite in the American one, but I haven't followed this year. I haven't been following. But on that note, I'm going to take my dumb ass into here and get fucking ready for work. Got to pump some gas real quick, but we're right outside, right by my job. So, I don't got shit to do but pump and dump. Doesn't that sound a little dirty, you fucking horse? But yeah, have a good weekend. Our Stanley Cup final, no S, according to Bill, just the final. Starts on Wednesday, I think, so no sports this weekend really besides, well, you got basketball game 6, not today, but tomorrow. Saturday, yeah, tomorrow you got game 6, maybe game 7. If not, you just got baseball and shit, so it might be a boring weekend. Some people are going to consider it starting the summer, because June. So, if that's how you feel, then enjoy the start to your summer. Have a nice boring weekend. Hopefully you got paid. Hopefully, all us dumbass normal folks are fucking happy, healthy, safe. All the bullshit I say. Go fuck yourselves with all the love in the world. Bill, go fuck yourself, you white privileged son of a bitch. I'm white too. And I don't feel privileged. Definitely don't. I mean, cops have been dicks. I haven't been shot. And I haven't been, threatened like that. But cops have been a dick to me my whole life. I've only had one cop be nice. And I was an asshole to him because so many cops were assholes to me. So, yeah, I guess that's how the fucking cookie crumbles, right? The one time you get a good one, you're an asshole. And then the rest are assholes to you. No, but I mean, the privilege part, yeah, no, I don't feel it, I grew up in a neighborhood, actually, at my schools, white was the minority by numbers. So, I mean, fucking explain that, Bill. My football team, when I was in high school and I played football, all the best players were not white, and I wasn't. I was a good player. I probably would have made college. Probably wouldn't have made NFL, but would have made college. But I wouldn't have made NFL. You know why? Because the better players. And yeah, there are some white, but most not. But you hear me bitching? You hear me being all fucking, yeah, they got the advantage, man. It's fucking unfair, man. Like, no. Because to me at this point, besides the obvious shit that's, that people see, like people getting shot in the passenger seat for no reason and, shit like that, besides the obvious racism, that subtle shit the Bill's talking about, it happens every direction. You know how many times I got called a cracker in school? And, I never said nothing back. I was never rude back. I fucking took it. I took it like a man and shoved it deep down so that when I can hit my drop dead years, I could drop dead in style. Like a man. Now, on that note, have a good weekend. Go fuck yourselves. We'll catch in on Tuesday. See if Bill says anything besides white people and billionaires. White people and billionaires. White people and fucking billionaires. Jesus, Bill, do you think there's any billionaires that aren't white? Do you think there's anything else to talk about? Anything? Anything at all? All right, I'm done. Have a good weekend.